Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's Reddit stories are from Entitled People. Story 1 is by Queen of the Moths. Actually, expecting me to clean up after my pet makes you entitled. I believe this is a two-parter. Man, I am still trying to process an exchange I had this morning. I was sitting on my balcony having breakfast and there was this woman I've never spoken to walking her dog. We don't know her, but my roommate and I see her down there pretty much every day. She's around our age, I would guess, so she's either in her 30s like us or maybe her 40s. We've never exchanged as much as a hello up to this point. Now, I really like my apartment complex. It's cute and pleasant to walk around. The only thing that really sucks is when people don't clean up after their dogs. It's so freaking gross. I hate when people don't do it. You're a grown-up who made a choice to have a pet. This comes with responsibilities that you have to keep up with. Most people around here do clean up after their dogs that I've seen, so we know it's just a few rotten eggs. If I see people who don't look like they're doing it, I call them out, which I know comes with risks, but come on, people. The response is sometimes defensive, sometimes a bit of twisting the truth, like, oh, I was just going to, but they all know that they should be doing it. Anyway, this woman has her dog right by our balcony, and my friend and I were just chatting until I noticed the woman was walking away without cleaning it up. So I said, in a tone more polite than the situation probably merited, "Excuse me, are you going to clean up after your dog?" And she says in this snotty voice, "No, I'm good, thanks." I immediately burst out laughing, though not in the good-humored kind because I couldn't believe the audacity. I said, "Wow, that's really pathetic," which apparently is more than she'd expected me to do because she came marching back. I have to imagine most people don't call this woman out. For her to have that kind of immediate vitriol makes me think she's kind of spoiled just in general and was angry that I'd embarrassed her. But she clearly knew I was right because she had to come back and double down. So she comes running at us with this kindergarten logic and goes, "I'm not the only one who doesn't clean up after my dog. Lots of people don't clean up after their dogs." And I was like, so? How does that absolve you from adding to the problem? She keeps going on about how other people do it too, so I said, "Cool, then give me their names. Let's have a list because I don't see any of them right now." And she's like, "Open your eyes and figure it out yourself." I was like, "That's what I'm doing right now." She keeps shouting that she doesn't have to do anything and she doesn't want to and she doesn't care what I think, so I was like, holy crap, I've never met such an entitled person. It's insane to me that you're getting this angry over someone expecting basic decency out of you. And she says, "No, you're entitled." I burst out laughing again and said, "I clean up after my animals. Me telling you I don't appreciate you leaving messes on our shared property doesn't make me entitled. You're a grown woman who doesn't know what responsibilities she'd have when she got a pet. There are tons of other people who don't want to see your dog's crap. You're not the main character." At this point, I feel like this woman has never been confronted beyond her first snarky response, and I have a bubbly and friendly tone normally, so she probably had expected to have scared me or shocked me into silence with that callous initial reaction, because she is practically melting down, trying to upset me while my friend and I laughed. She gave me a snarky, "Have a nice day," and I wished her the same in equal tone, then she waddled off. And no, that's not me calling her fat. She was actually really fit. She just walks in a very exaggerated, cartoonish way, like Jessica Rabbit or some crap. I thought she was doing it to be snarky, but my friend said she just always walks like that. We took a short video of her, sadly not of the incident itself as we had to grab our phones, and I plan to take it to the front office just to let them know. It's only step 1. I doubt anything will be done with just this, but it had been driving me crazy and I'm ready to start holding rude people accountable. Fortunately, I can use the corporate office if the people here don't start to put pressure on people who are blatantly breaking their lease. It's right in there that you have to clean up after your animals. I'm not trying to get anyone evicted, but I'm hoping she at least feels the pressure to act like a grown-up and takes care of her pets. Like, I wouldn't cry if she got a fine or something. Seriously though. It's painful to me that people like this even exist. She was so confident that she was somehow in the right that she didn't even try to lie about it. Like, woman, you aren't 12. The other people do it argument isn't going to hold up in court. Laughing my butt off. I walk my dogs every day. I have a box full of rolls of green baggies. I don't like picking up after my dog, but it's part of the requirement when you walk them. And if you put the bag over your hand and you reach down, you grab it, and you roll the bag up over your fist, you'd never touch it. It's gross, but it's expected. It happens everywhere, though. There are so many piles of dog poo that are left out there. And, you know, I never see the people that are doing it. I just see the evidence of it. So maybe it could be other wild animals, but it definitely looks like a dog to me. But it's part of dog ownership. If you want to walk your dogs, that's great. That's fantastic. You should be walking your dogs. But there are even signs right before you get on the path that say that there's a bylaw in place. You have to pick up after your dogs if they poo anywhere that's not your own property. Pick up after your dogs. It's just a nice thing to do. And people that don't do it, they're just jerks. This person, though, posted a follow-up to the story. Update on dog poop girl, it got worse. So yesterday I posted about having a nasty encounter with a neighbor of mine who was apparently too good to pick up after her dog. She made sure to let me know that I was the entitled one for not wanting dog poop all over the property, and she made sure to toss in some classist remarks expecting maintenance people to clean it up. Someone suggested in the comments that she might be the pathetic sort to come back and intentionally try to provoke us. I thought for sure she wouldn't be that dumb. Turns out I was the fool for giving her that much credit, but it's a good thing she did because I got a great video of her. I'm not going to upload it for a number of reasons, but I might if she tries to do it to me. It played out in Entitled Loser 101 to a degree that almost felt unreal. I can't believe people like this truly exist. She came by, intentionally brought her dog right beneath our balcony this time and waited. I was like, cool, let's record. So we sit there, she waits for her dog to poo, and then she starts to walk away. Of course. Proof. Thank you. However, as she walked away, she saw that I was recording and turned back. She started shrieking. Oh my God, are you trying to record me? You know that's illegal, right? I said, yes, I am. It's not illegal. You're in a public space. She starts yelling at me to mind my own business and that none of this concerns me. I told her it did concern me because I live here too and I don't want a poop-covered apartment complex, nor do any other residents, I would imagine. She told me that I didn't own the complex, like that made it okay. Do you, ma'am? We had a back and forth and she started recording me back, telling me threatening things like, thanks for exposing yourself, implying that she's gonna dox me and put it online. Hopefully nothing comes of that because I just want my privacy. But I haven't done anything wrong, so I'm not worried about it otherwise. When that didn't upset me, as she clearly intended, she started trying to insult me, and it was hilarious. This is probably because of your weight. My best friend and I burst out laughing. She called me a fat B-word, so I started recording again to catch anything else she might say. She told me she was reporting me, and I told her, please do it, so they'd know who she was when I report her. It was freaking bonkers. This woman is a nightmare. I'm actually worried this is going to escalate into something even worse, but I guess we'll see. So the second she left, we took the video down to the front office. I showed it to one of the landlords who was appalled. I mentioned the day before and how that had gone down, and I verified that she was indeed breaking her lease. Also, the landlord thanked me for policing people who just leave dog poop behind. She said they've been trying to get people to take responsibility, and it's turning into a real issue. After that, she gave me her email and asked me to send her the videos. I did so, and now we'll see how it unfolds. I also told her that the woman threatened to report me, so she may actually call in herself and unintentionally turn herself in. I also mentioned worrying about potential retaliation so that it's just out there, if she calls the cops. I fortunately have the video, so she won't be able to make up anything about me harassing her or something. I've been told not to engage with her if she comes back again, but just to contact the office and tell them she's here. I really don't know what to expect. I just wanted to enjoy a nice morning on my balcony. I'm seriously blown away. All this because someone asked you to pick up your dog's poop. What is this world coming to? This is like somebody who doesn't return their shopping cart at the store. A little bit more gross, but still the same sort of thing. Lots of people don't do it, so I'm just not going to do it. I always return my carts. I always pick up dog poop. There was one day where I didn't have a plastic bag, but they also have these dispensers on the dog path, and I had to walk a little bit away and grab a bag, and then I came back and picked it up after. It's just a memory thing. Sometimes I forget to put my little roll dispenser in my pocket when I leave. I usually remember right away and come back. Our next story is Not Evil, Just British, or British. A lesson in why we should never go for looks alone. Tonight I met my friend's new American girlfriend. And wow, just wow. She is achingly beautiful, utterly stunning in fact, but she's also the most entitled and idiotic person I've ever met. And I've met Boris Johnson. In the space of 3 hours, Scarlett O'Trailer Trash told me, 1. She's part Welsh as her family originally came from Edinburgh. 2. It's racist of me to refer to her father as Spanish, and that Hispanic is the proper term actually. He was literally born in Spain. 3. That I would have to tone down my Welsh accent when she and my friend have children because it's just not refined, and I want my babies to be refined. They've been dating for about 6 weeks and she's from Alabama. 4. That she thought she may as well move to England since she was already paying for the England economy. 5. That she could stay in the country indefinitely without a visa. I'm white and I'm practically English, why would they ask me to leave? 6. That you can't get good sushi anywhere outside of America. 7. That snapping her fingers at the waitress was totally fine, that's why she's here. 8. That I should stop looking for a lodger and let her move into my spare room for free so that we could bond. But you'll have to get rid of the plants because I'm allergic to the carbon they put out. God. I must have said, that's not really true, about 30 times. Eventually, I just decided to roll with it and enjoy the entitled insanity. So I started nodding in agreement with everything she said and just let her talk. My friend was clearly dying inside. When I made my excuse to leave early, she said, I was worried about meeting you because I know how much friend respects you. I'm glad I made a good impression. Add me on Insta and I'll show you how to decorate my room. 20 minutes later, I got a text from my friend. I'm so sorry. I had no idea she was that dumb. Something tells me I won't have to see her again. Edit. Dear Americans, please stop apologizing. I promise I don't hold you responsible. Besides, I know what the world thinks about the UK. If you don't blame me for Brexit, Nigel Farage, and footy hooligans, I'll give you a free pass on the red hats and the bum F bimbos. I am not going to comment on the political aspect, but I did work with some kids in school that would ask some really crazy questions. I'm certainly not trying to make it so that you don't question in school because that's where you should be asking questions. I still remember one girl asked in science class if air was alive. I mean, if you want to know about that sort of stuff, ask in school. That's where you should be asking, right? One teacher in social studies had a map of the US on the board and asked them to draw the approximate location of the Mississippi River. And she drew it on the far right in the Atlantic Ocean. It's one of those just outline maps, so there's no color to it. It was just an outline of the United States. And she drew the Mississippi River in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And to be fair, they had recently been in science class learning about the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, so maybe that's what she thought the Mississippi River was. Anyway, there was another student again in social studies class. She was talking about how her older brother was in Iraq at the time, I believe, and she said he was due to come home soon. And this other girl in class said, "Oh, is he gonna drive home from Iraq?" It's not uncommon, and it's not just an American thing. There are plenty of other people in the world that are like that. But Americans definitely get the worst reputation when it comes to education. Our next story today is by Anonymous0212. Woman parks so close to our car that my husband can't get out, then gets pissed off when he gestures that he can't get out. We shop at Sprouts twice a week and my chiropractor is right next door, so once a week when I go in for my adjustment, my husband typically waits in the car and does some Duolingo, and then I text or call him when I'm done and walking up to Sprouts. When we were there yesterday, I called him and let him know I was on my way, then I waited for him inside the store for what was a ridiculously long time. I couldn't tell which one was our car, but I didn't even see him getting out of one and walking through the parking lot, and couldn't figure out what the holdup was. He finally called and said there was a woman who had parked so close to our car that the door handles were practically touching, and she seemed completely oblivious. She sat there fiddling on her phone while he tried to get her attention. He should have just honked. I would have, but he didn't think of it. Then she finally looked over and he gestured that he couldn't open his door. She gave him a nasty look and slowly pulled out and drove away. Edited, and yes, he was parked well within both lines of his parking space, nowhere near hers. Further edit, he's 6'1", and we have what is for him a relatively small car with high console between the two front seats, so it would have been difficult for him to crawl to the other side. And anyway, he wasn't stuck long enough to get impatient enough to honk or open his window and bang on hers, but long enough that I would have. He was just taking a lot longer to get into the store than he normally does and knew I'd be wondering what was going on. And she was definitely entitled for parking the way she did and then for getting mad at him for communicating that she had blocked him in. These people exist in the world, guys. They're out there. They're waiting to be entitled Karens to you. Just remember that. Most people you bump into are going to be good people, but there are crazies and entitled people out there just waiting to mess up your day. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have the most spectacular day.